So in Chapter 10, we're going to be working with sales and accounts receivable. So we just finished purchases and using the cash payments journal. So every time we wrote a check, we used the cash payments journal. Every time we made a purchase, which was to put inventory into our store, it was the purchases journal. So that was all us. Now we're on the other side and we're doing customers. So this relates to customers. Every time a customer comes in, they buy something from you. That's a sale. So if a customer purchases, if a customer buys something and they do not pay cash and they're going to pay for it later, that's when we use the sales journal. So I'm going to have you put up here, this is customers. Okay? And anything we do here will be a sale on account. Sale on account. So in other words, your customer bought something from you and they will pay for it later. Now, if you'll notice on these columns, a sale, when it's dealing with customers, it's always accounts receivable. And since a customer has bought something from us and they will pay for it later, it will be an accounts receivable debit. So just like our other two journals that we were doing, these have special columns too. So accounts receivable debit would be the entire amount that our customer owes us. Sales credit is the amount of the sale. This is the ticket price, the tag, the ticket price. So whatever they bought, that's just the price of the merchandise. And then, of course, tax. So that's tax. Okay? Now, sales tax, we must collect it, but we don't get to keep it. We have to send it off to the state. So that's a sales tax payable. Sales tax payable are liabilities. In other words, we owe the government this much money, our state government. So we'll be turning this over to them. So it's a liability. So if you'll notice, you have two columns, two credits and a debit. So just as all the journals are, your two credits must equal the one debit when we start working on these lines here. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. And now you need to pull out this form. So just as we have a sales journal, and let's call this sales journal page, we're going on Work Together on page 289. So in your books, you need to turn to page 289. And according to our directions, it says to start a new page for an accounts receivable ledger account for Venice Cafe. The account number is 120 and the balance on September 1st of the current year is $390.34. Well, we'll see to that here in a minute, okay? So it also says that we're going to use the current year and we're going to journalize the following transactions on page 9 of the sales journal. Our store is Classic Appliances and our state has a 6% sales tax. The sales invoice source document is abbreviated as S, okay? So we need to know all of these things. So what I've done is I've given you one of these, and it's an accounts receivable ledger. So in accounts receivable ledger, this is a listing and the ledgers for all the customers that we allow to charge to us. So we're going to put them in order because they are in alphabetical order. And once again, I'm going to write this here. These are customers. So you just finished a ledger, but it was an accounts payable ledger, and that was us, the company that owed people. So now we're dealing with customers. Now, these are always in alphabetical order. They're in alphabetical order by company name, or if it's an individual, by last name. So our first customer is Lenny Stafford. So we'll just write him down here, or Stanford. And since this is accounts receivable, all assets begin with a 1. So our accounts receivable customers will begin with 1. So this will be 110. And then our next customer is Venice Cafe. And it has account 120. So it's just like the other one. The other one began with a 2 because they were liabilities. These are assets, so it's 110, 120, 130, 140 because accounts receivable is an asset. Now I'm going to, and then Washington City Schools. Is our third one, and that's 130. And we're going to come back up because some of these people have balances. So it is September the 1st. And Lenny has a balance, we'll put a check mark in the check mark column, of $2,189.36. And what that means is Lenny, our customer, already owes us, prior to September 1, of $2,189.36. Venice Cafe, as of September 1st, has a balance of $390.34. And Washington City Schools, their balance, put a check mark here, is $1,509.45. Okay, so now we have our accounts receivable ledgers ready. So before the month's already started, all 3 of our customers owe us money, or already owe us money. So now I'm going to put this over, set this aside, and we're ready to complete our journal. So all I'm doing is looking at Work Together 10.1, and our instructions say that we've already done our accounts receivable ledgers there with our numbering, and now we're using page 9 of the journal, of the sales journal, with a 6% sales tax. So I'm starting these, that's where I'm getting all this. I'm using these entries, these transactions, according to Work Together 10.1. So it says and it is page 9, so I better put that up here, page 9, sales journal. On September the 2nd, we sold merchandise on account to Lenny Stafford, $1,600 plus sales tax. So I'm going to come over here. It is September the 2nd. And in my sales journal, what goes here is my customer, Lenny Stanford. And then according to your directions, it says that the sales invoice number is 221. Now, what is your sales invoice? So when you put together the items that your customers are going to buy, you're going to give them a sales invoice, like a sales ticket, and that's what this number stands for. So now, he bought something from you for $1,600. So that's your sale. That's what the tag was. So we're going to put $1,600 right here. According to your directions, you have a 6% sales tax. So we will take 1,600 times 6%, and it's telling you that your sales tax you must charge them is $96. So we'll put sales tax, $96. So now we're over here, we've got our 2 credits, and here's our debit, accounts receivable debit. And what this really means is, altogether, what does Lenny owe you? He owes you the $1,600 for the merchandise, but he also owes you an additional 96 cents for tax. So we will add those 2 together, and it will be $1,696. So we'll do the second one. This is September the 6th. Sold merchandise on account to Washington City Schools, $680. Washington City Schools is exempt from sales taxes. So the 6th, Washington City Schools. It will be sales invoice 222 because they're always in order. And then here's the deal. Some places like hospitals, schools, do not have to pay sales tax. So that means we're not going to do anything right here. So we're going to put just a dash by sales tax because we do not get sales tax from them. So all we're interested in is the amount of the merchandise itself. And it said that they purchased $680. So we'll write $680 here. So underneath your accounts receivable debit, the entire amount they would owe you is just this $680. On the 7th, sold merchandise on account to Venice Cafe, $2,560. So we will write Venice Cafe. 223 is the sales invoice number. And it said they purchased $25.60. So that goes in my sale, $25.60. Now, they're also going to have to pay sales tax. So it's $2,560 times 6%. And so they owe me an additional $153.60 for tax. So $153.60. Now, what does Venice Cafe owe me altogether? This was the ticket price of the items purchased plus the tax. So we'll add both of those together and I'll get $2,713.60. On the 15th, sold merchandise on account to Washington City Schools, $1,849. So right here, it will be Washington City Schools. My invoice will be $224. Now remember, they're exempt from tax. So that means there is no tax. The amount of the merchandise was $1,849. And so the total amount that they owe me is the same. So we'll write $1,849 here. So that is all you need to do as far as up to this point in recording the amount of sales into a sales journal. So the video's getting kind of long, so I will need you to go to part 2 of the sales journal.